So the next part of the video that I wanted to go over was the altar. What are the things that I have, maybe some of the things that I'm missing, and just kind of give you an idea of what it is that we have in the Yoruba Santismo, Santeria, whatever you want to define it as. This is just an example. It's not complete. It's not really where I want it to be, but I can show you a little bit about what I do, what I have, and what I like. I start with the beginning of where I'm at right now. So in this little part right here, I have some rose petals. I like to do spiritual baths. So I have some yellow flowers, rose petals, that I'm letting them dry because they tend to work better when they're dry. But originally I had them in the vase, I had a bouquet of roses. I had them for several days. You don't want to keep your flowers for too much time. You don't want them to go bad. If they start to tarnish and whatnot. I like to take the petals. I take off the petals with my hands. I put them in a bowl and I let them dry. So you can do this with roses. I personally like the yellow rose. Basically, what for me is missing and kind of where I'm back to from the beginning is I would like to have my elegua. So he's not present right now. I have to work on that and consecrate elegua. But this is where I would place elegua. I'm starting to put offerings for elegua. I have over here some candy, some incense for elegua. I have dice for elegua. I have cascarilla. This is dry eggshell. It's something that you use for baths. You can use it for making signs on the ground. There's many uses for this. So it's called cascarilla. And I have a candle of San Lazaro, which is San Lazaro. So I have these eleki, these corales of San Lazaro that I ordered on eBay. The problem is I live far away from Miami, so a lot of the things I cannot find out here in the West Coast. So sometimes I go online to find what I like. But these are specially made for Lazaro. They also correlate to the elekis of my camino. So because I practice under the path of Lazaro. So Lazaro is someone, patron saint, Saint Lazarus. He's also known as Baba Luaye. I also have a small Virgin Mary. Some of the offerings for Lazaro is you have toasted corn. In the background over here, I have black beans that I have. He likes mixed beans too. So it's not, like I said, complete like I would like to have. But for now, it's what I have. In the background, over here, is my representation of Osain. Osain is basically the fertility god. He relates to herbs. This is my depiction of Osain. So what's important to understand about Osain is he basically is the Orisha of plants and herbs. It's really important to me because I have an interest in medicine. So I kind of look to understand Osain a lot. Um, Over here I have some Coriales or Lekis. This one is a representation of Ogun. He's the warrior. He's the god of metals. He's a god of war. Um, all his attributes relate to metalwork, things that deal with machinery, technology. Over here I have Yemaya. So Yemaya is the Orisha of the ocean. So she is particularly special to me. She's very powerful. She's the archetype of motherhood. So she's one of the Orishas that are in my path. Like I said in the previous videos, not all Orishas are part of your path. You have to kind of understand what your path is. So I have Yemaya. I know that I have a strong warrior of Ogun. Things like that. This one is Osain. So this correlates to Osain. So his beads are multicolored. They have white and brown, or clear and brown. Also, two are depicted in smaller. You can see all the different Orisha that are part of Osain. So these are kind of special to me. So I like Osain a lot. I have here a glass of water, a tobacco. This pertains to what they call boveda, B-O-V-E-D-A, boveda. It's usually a glass of water that you change every week. You clean it with a white cloth. You don't use soap to clean it. You just clean it with a white cloth. And so I have a simple boveda. I don't have many cups. You know, boveda is done in odd numbers, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, all the way up to 21. A common boveda that you'll see is in the number of sevens, where you have one glass that's taller and then 6 smaller bovedas around it. But like I said, my altar is not complete in the way that I would like to see it. So I like to put a cigar for San Lázaro. For the Orishas now, depending on what is out there, is different variations. Some people put the crucifix in the boveda. There's different versions. My madrina always used to put a tobacco on top of hers. So I just have one. In the background, I have my gitana. So she's my gypsy spirit guide. She's part of the legacy of my family. She's the oracle, the fortune, the tarot. Helps to align the energy in my life, things like that. I give her a rosary. Remember, this is all personalized. This is what I like. This is what I feel. You know, not everyone does things the same. It's up to you how you want to have things. So that's an example of my gitana. So it's la gitana Osain, who's represented with the aleki that are multicolored. Okay. Eventually I'll have a legua here, but I don't have a legua at this moment. So that's something I'm going to work on. This is Lázaro. These are his aleki. I have over here, I have some of the feathers that relate to Lázaro. Lázaro is known as Babalu Aye, B-A-B-A-L-U, Aye, A-Y-E. So these are some of the feathers that pertain to him. These are what they call a pheasant's feather, things things like that. Now I have a little bit of Oriental ancestry. I don't know why, but it's a feeling that I've always kind of known. So I kind of honor them as well. I have the Emperor. I have, these are just La Bandera. These are the lekis of all the Orishas. So he's kind of like my version of Shango in a way. Similar attributes to the Emperor, to Shango. I have the Old Wise Man. I gave him some Elekis as well. You know, you could personalize your style. Not everyone has the same way. There's not a rule to the way that you should do things. This year, the year 2019, was the year of the pig. So, you know, this is like for good blessings, good fortune, you know, put change. I have the small Buddha on either side, because I like the Buddhas as well. Over there. Now, the other thing I wanted to share with you, what I particularly like the most in the tradition are the baths. So these are what I've done so far that I'm still finishing. I haven't finished my baños, but I'm kind of on a campaign to finish this particular baño by the end of the year, and it's basically important for me because agua de ruda, which I strongly recommend for people, is important to block bad energy, to remove a jinx, to remove a curse, to remove brujerias, things that are bad that you feel. Agua de ruda is super, super strong and important. It smells really good. It's very herbal in nature. It's considered a bitter herb. It's part of the path of Osain. So Osain and ruda, you know, anything that deals with plants, it's part of that. So like I said, part of my camino is medicine and medicinal attributes that I focus on. I have Indio Pedrosa, which is basically the same thing as agua de ruda. It's just maybe slightly different formula. Have here agua de violetas. This is very popular in Cuba. They use this a lot for babies. It helps to have defense, to invite the good and positive energy. It's purple, so purple is a representation of transformation. So I like to use it, but I don't use it always. I just use it when I feel that I should use it. However, one that I really like the most is La Colonia 1800, Colonia 1800. This one is citrusy. It's kind of smells like lemon. And you also have, you know, agua de naranja or orange blossom water. It's another colonia that I like. This is like my formula of la colonias that I like. These are for taking a bath. So you make a bath, and instead of using like soapy suds, you use this instead. So as you see, it has even la ruda inside of it. Really good. Highly recommend it for people that are trying to remove bad energy. So that's kind of what I have there. The Vicks pertains to San Lázaro because he's the patron of health, and one of the superstitions, you know, if you wear some vapor rub before you go to bed, it's good for your breathing. It has alcanfor in it, camphor oil, so it's kind of a healing type of thing. So I like to leave that with Lázaro. I have here some incense that I want to use. This one is called Abre Camino, which means to open the road opener, however you want to describe it. So it has like frankincense. It's like has some herbs in it. You can find a lot of these things in a botanica. So just for your information, I have another thing here. I haven't done it yet, but there's another formula that I want to work on. Um, there's something called anil. I don't know if you can see it, bro. Anil, and basically it's a blue. It's like a blue kind of chalk. It doesn't really have a scent to it, but this is really good for blocking bad energy. And what you do is you dissolve it in water. You could use anil in a bath, in a baño. What I'm going to use it for is you place anil in a glass of water. You dissolve it. You put it in a copa like this. But what you do differently is that you put the glass upside down on a plate, and it's to reverse bad energy. So that's something I'm working on. I'm very aware of bad people from the past that I have to kind of be aware of, that I gotta kind of work on that. It's nothing bad, it's just something that I have to kind of defend against. And then over here, I have charcoal. This is carbon. You put this on something that's non-flammable, like you could use it like on something like this, barro, clay. It works well. You could, you light it, and then you add this type of incense onto it, and you go around the home, you purify the home, you take it then outside, and then you start to clean the home. Remember, one thing that's really important in this type of practice is that it's imperative that you have an impeccably clean type of home. I don't know what to do because my mom is not the best at that. So I'm gonna have to kind of clean her room because it is affecting me in a way. I try to keep a cleaner environment. I'm not perfect, I'm not like spotless, but you definitely want to make sure that when you have an altar that you keep it clean. You don't want it to be dirty and dusty. You change your altar, you don't leave it the same. I like to change my altar once a month. But you don't change it constantly. It's not something, 1 week after the next, do you change your altar. You shouldn't do that. You should just leave it the way it is. You put it there for a reason, and so that's kind of how you leave it. You don't want to switch it around too much. But it's important to not leave it stagnant, because then bad energy kind of attacks the altar, and you don't want that. You don't want it to be dusty and stale. You don't want to have that. This here is, remember that I was describing in the other video, I'm a Roma gypsy by background. So these are my two Romanian couple. This represents marriage and love. They're my ancestors most directly. This one and this one, La Gitana. I should probably have them together, to be honest with you. It doesn't belong there. I have to fix that. Let's see. It should be with her. That's where they belong. So, move this out of the way. It's a little bit about the gypsies and things like that. La Gitana. I don't have the statue of Sarah Kali, but there's like a Virgin Mary gypsy, I guess you can describe her. Her name is Sarah Kali, K-L, Sarah, S-A-R-A, Kali, K-A-L-I. That's something that I look forward to having in the near future, so that's something that I plan on doing. But these are my, kind of like my grandparents, my great-grandparents, people of Romania, people of that part of the world. To give you an idea what my heritage is, I'm 4 different races. I'm basically 1/4 Sicilian, 1/4 Romanian, 1/4 Puerto Rican, 1/4 Native American. And I have African blood in the mix of it. North African blood is what, so I look Middle Eastern to a lot of people. This is a statue I recently found at a botanica that I really liked. This is Geronimo. He's a warrior spirit of the Native Americans. He was known for his courage and for the legacy of the Native American people, and so he's like a very indomitable spirit. It's not necessary, but I put a cross for him. These are cowrie shells. If you notice, I have a little bit of an oriental design to my altar. It's kind of a mixture. These are cowrie shells. A mystery to share with the world, that there's 21 cowrie shells. A little bit about the cowrie shells is that they're used in la práctica de Orishas, and basically you cast them. And there's basically a sign or un señal or a message that it will tell you about your near future, your past, your present, depending on how it arranges. I'm not an expert on being able to read the cowrie shells. It's going to be something that's going to take some time for me to learn, but it's something that I remember as a kid. They used to use this a lot in divination with a runla, to help people to understand what is going on in their life, and it's a way to kind of give you a forecast of your direction. It's used a lot. There's also a different form of divination where they use I think it's coconut, or it's like 4 pieces of coconut. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's another type that they use in Ifa. This is particularly more in la práctica, la regla de Osha, the order of Osha. They use the cowrie shells. So that's something that I would like to work with a little bit. I have over here a little bit of like an Oriental theme and a little bit of like an Eastern European theme. They're just pretty to me. This is like a mini urn. Has a spirit, watch out. Don't want to open it. The vase, I found this recently in Chinatown. So this is something that I have. There's a story. See the deer? It's really pretty. I recently found Kuan Yin. I've been wanting to have Kuan Yin for a little while. Kuan Yin is a spiritual goddess of China. She's very revered throughout Asia. Very strong. She's kind of strong on her own. She doesn't need anybody, She's kind of a jealous goddess, She doesn't want to be. She gets mad at me. She's like, "Why are you having me here? I want to be by myself." Sometimes she's a little bit like that. This is kind of her. She's kind of like, "Don't fuck with me," I have a Buddha that I've had for probably the longest out of everything here. He's my, my good luck, my good fortune type Buddha. This is a medicine that you can find in a Chinese market. It's for arthritis. It's called white flower. I'm into things that relate to arthritic pain because I get a lot of arthritic pain in my knees. So I like this oil. It's an analgesic type oil. So I'm into healing. That's kind of the theme for me. I'm not trying to go too into other things of what I don't know or what I don't need. This doesn't really mean too much, but I have it here. It's just basically a little bit related to Ogun, the metal worker. He's the representation. This is not really a true Ogun type arrangement. Like I said, it's incomplete. It's not what I have in completion. He's really Ogun is in a cauldron, an iron cauldron. There's secrets that go into the cauldron, different types of metals and stuff like that. But for now, nothing too crazy. It's just what I have. The Orishas know who you are. You don't have to belabor things too much, okay? Just go with the flow. Don't make it an obsession. Mano Poderosa. Okay, so now I have continuation with what I'm focusing on right now. The most important thing in the religion, in my opinion, is the bath, el baño. There's nothing stronger, in my opinion, than a baño because your body is your vessel. It's what you want to protect. And so for me, this is the way to go. Like for people that are learning about things, if you have an impure aura or vibration, which is not your fault, we pick up a lot of bad energy from the environment. It affects our aura. And so when you're working with whatever that you're working with what's personal to you and your altar, you want to kind of purify your body too. Okay? You want to keep your room clean. You don't want to have a dirty home, things like that. I can't stress that the most. What's so important is to be clean. Clean, clean, clean. Clean the floors, clean the bathroom, clean the kitchen, clean your body. Those are types of things that you really got to watch out for. Because that's how bad energies kind of, cling to. Lower vibrations, they like dirty type things. Again, like I said, it's not complete, but I have over here, this is for now, my representation of Oshun. Again, there's not a rule or specific type things, but she likes gold, she likes brass. The Alekis that I have for her right now, I kind of synthesize things. I'm syncretic, I'm a mixture. I'm not one-dimensional. But I have here her Alekis. These are the Alekis of Oshun. I feel like Oshun is something that I have to earn. It's not really gonna come easily. This is representation of love, wealth, prosperity. And so for Oshun, is a lot of work for her, a lot that has to be done to satisfy Oshun. And so that's kind of my arrangement here, is I kind of gave it that theme of gold. the Buddha. In here, I like to put rice. I'm into prosperity and abundance. Uh, some of the things that you can do is, you get rice. You can get currency from your country, let's say, in this case, the American dollar. You cut it up like confetti. It's not that big of a deal. We spend $1 like anything. So you get a couple dollars, whatever you like, whatever denomination. It's nothing that you have to spend a lot of money for. But I put my fortune and associations to wealth and prosperity with rice. And then what you typically do is you have change. I lost one. It's okay. Again, it's another project that I have to work on, but there has to be, a more focus on my fortune, financial fortune. Because I said in previous videos, I've had a rough year. I was homeless in New York. There was a conflict that I had with my mom, and I had to leave the house. And, so now I'm back with her, trying to create some peace and harmony. So those are some types of things that I have. I have a little, Chinese dipping bowl and things like that. So I do like to mix a little bit the Asian with the African, with the Native American, with the Gypsy, Gitana. It's a mix. I'm kind of multi-dimensional like that. But I highly recommend to people that it's important to have an altar. Okay, so we have altars to protect us, first and foremost. That's the main reason why people have altars, is to protect your crown, to protect your Ori. Ori means your head, your mind, they're the attributes of Obatala. Obatala is the white Orisha, represents the mind, the intellect, things like that. So that's kind of an idea of what I have. Again, like I said, it's incomplete. I could tell you that right now. It's not exactly what I want entirety. Again, I'm into the baños, into the baths. If you want to do a baño called Obatala, it's really good. It has, different herbs. So once I'm done with the process of La Ruda, because I recommend people start there, you can go into a Batala, you could go into a Shun. There's different ones, all kinds of ones. I bought this one recently at a Botanica, which I'm going to start using next year when I'm ready for it. But this is my baño for 2020. It's called Abre Camino, which means to open the road. And it has like probably over 20 different species of herbs and flowers. It has like kind of a cinnamon, flowery, herbal type of scent to it. So this is something, it's a big bag, so you only need so much of it. This is something you could divide probably into like 7 or 8 different, 7 or 8 different baños. It will make a lot of quantity. So if you find these in a Botanica, they're very natural. They're something that are very powerful and strong. But before you kind of open the door or open Camino, you want to kind of first remove whatever negative energy that is on you or around you first with Ruda, basil, bitter herbs, and stuff like that. Now, The reason why we have colonia, they go kind of hand in hand. So when you do the baño, when you use these different types of potions, I guess you can describe it. After you bathe, you want to make sure you use colonia after you bathe, because you want to be perfumed, in a sense, after the baño. And then the third step to that is, if you have like your favorite cologne, you spray yourself with cologne. I typically use la colonia for the upper half of my body, particularly my neck, my hair, my arms, my upper body. It's not really necessary for your lower body, but you can. It's alcohol, so, be careful with what part of your body you use colonia, because, it might not feel good if you put it in the wrong place. To kind of summarize what I want to show you is, I want to show you from a distance of what it is. Okay, so from here, you can see in the middle I have the purple vase for Lázaro, and those are typically flowers that are yellow or purple. I tend to go for yellow roses. Like, that's just the way my madrina always taught me. I'm very much into the yellow candle. I like the yellow candle the most out of all candles. The yellow candle is a very strong candle. In my opinion, it's the strongest candle of all the colors. It just has a vibration that I'm looking for, and it's probably the most defensive type candle to protect you. If you're looking for protection or to stop bad energy, I recommend the yellow candle. In this case, I have Lázaro specifically because I needed to work with Lázaro. I have health issues right now, bad news that I got this year, and I kind of had to take a couple steps back and kind of meditate on what it is that maybe have went wrong in the past that I want to fix. So you don't want things to be disaligned, okay? So that was bothering me. It's not supposed to be tipping over, okay? You want to make sure things are properly placed in the way that you like them. The other thing I'll show you here is, this is a kind of a synopsis of what the 7 potencias are, the 7 African potencias, the 7 potential, the 7 Orisha, the 7 days of the week. Everything in Santis, in Spiritismo, and Santeria, all these different beliefs kind of all come back to this portrait. This is probably one of the most classic portraits that I could tell you that I remember as a kid seeing when I was growing up in Miami. And they always have, Shango as the first patron saint. You have Orula. You have Ogun, Elegua, Obatala, Yemaya, and Oshun. So when you have the 7 African deities, you kind of complete the puzzle in a way if you have representations. Now this is for people that don't have this. I want to kind of make it clear what's kind of a little bit different that I want to kind of describe. This is my version of what I've learned from my elders of the style from Cuba, particular to the house that I was brought up in. I was raised in the practice with Carmen Sofia. She was an elderly Cuban lady. She was an expert in La Regla de Osha, but she left. She left the Santeria official religion and created her own home, her own practice for people that were outside of the practice. Because, quite frankly, she didn't agree with animal sacrificing. Like, it was just a step that was unnecessary for her. She had her experiences just like I have had my experiences, and it's just not something that we wanted. So Carmen Sofia is the one that taught me this style, where she incorporated African, Native American, Gypsy, Gitana, and Asian influences into one altar. That's just the way that I was brought up into the tradition. It probably falls more into the category of Espiritismo, more so than in Santeria. Now, there's two sides to Santeria. There's the people that do not believe in animal sacrifice, and people that do. I'm in the culture of people that did not do that type of thing, because it's just not the type of karma that we wanted. It's not necessary. It's just, quite frankly, that's not the magic that we are trying to follow. We're into white magic, completely pure, based around the idea of one creator, of the Santos, good spirits, good vibrations, those type of things. The biggest thing, again, I cannot stress it more, what matters the most here is the baños in la colonia. There's also a colonia called Agua de Florida. Everyone knows about it. I just haven't had a chance to purchase it, but that's probably, like I said, what's missing. I don't have la colonia de Agua de Florida, but either way, this is kind of the substitute, These are probably, this one right here, La Colonia 1800 and Agua de Florida are the two strongest colonias, period. And I particularly like the one that smells like orange. And from time to time, not every day, but I use La Violeta. That's for transformation, transforming energies, things like that. So that concludes this video of what I have today to show, to cover what I felt was important to share with everybody, what some of the symbolisms and some of the things that you might find in this type of tradition. Thank you, and I'll see you again.